And testing 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me, Mr. Green Jeans?
I can hear you, Captain Kangaroo.
You remember?
Of course I remember. Don't say ping pong balls.
What happened with the ping pong balls?
A whole bunch of ping pong balls fell down.
Really?
When he was talking to, what's his name? Is it Mr. Moose? What was his name?
Yeah, I think he had. Did he have a first name? Mr. Moose, and Mr. I know Mr. Green Jeans.
Yeah.
And was it more than Mr. Moose? Mr. Moose.
I don't know. That's a good question.
Ping pong balls.
Because if you said ping pong balls,
it was just Mr. Moose.
Then tons of ping pong balls would fall down.
How do I not remember the ping pong balls?
I don't know. It was a pretty big deal, and it's kind of like, yeah. It's like Chekhov's ping pong balls. Like it would happen at some point. You knew it had to.
Did you just say Chekhov's ping pong balls?
Yeah. Chekhov's gun is a concept in playwriting where if there's a gun on the mantelpiece,
you
in
don't
the first
put a gun
act, by the third act, it has to have gone off.
It has to be right. The way I never heard the actual name. We've been through this. Remember me and names and things like I remember the concepts, and so I am well versed in the concept of if there's a gun on the mantle.
Right.
Like you don't put a gun on the mantle in a play or even in a movie for that matter, unless it's actually going to get used.
Right.
That's my version of it.
Yeah, but it's named for Anton Chekhov. I think he said that.
But you see what I'm saying? Like I could just attribute a name to it if you weren't around. I could be like, well, the Billabong.
The Billabong gun.
The Billabong.
But it all falls apart
if Marcus is in the room.
Sorry.
Like
just know about play stuff.
I think you meant Song of the South. which if you don't get the reference, for those of you listening, you need to go back and listen to episode 10.
Well, you also got ostracized by your professor over that, and I'm not going to do that.
That's what I mean. That's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah.
See, I was going to make them actually work for it, but you just go ahead and put it out there. That's fine.
Well, you might as well, because I don't want them thinking about that and then missing all of the brilliance of the rest of the show.
Well, you have high expectations.
Yeah.
I have 2 vessels of water, and I don't know which one to use. Okay? Now, see, here's the other thing. What's the name of the thing?
I don't know.
The cat is the which actually, can I say the word? Can we say like the equivalent of a donkey?
Yeah,
it's like
Boatinger's
ass.
Is it Boatinger's?
Basically,
that sounds right.
Concept. I'm telling you, dude. So the concept is, there's a donkey, also known as the other thing, and he is both thirsty and hungry, equally thirsty and equally hungry, and
that's an interesting version of it.
He is just as many feet away from a food source and as he is from water. Right. And so the donkey starves.
Right, because he can't decide.
Right. There's a name. There's a name for that. It's like half of my education is wasted because I can't name the freaking thing.
And that's what I mean.
But I remember all the stuff. Like
you sound so much less intelligent, but it's not. You have it. You have everything you would if you had the name of it. But you have to go. It's the thing where the donkey's in the middle of the two things, and he wants the both things equally, and he can't get to either thing.
I'm like Norm.
You sound like a moron for some reason.
I might as well be on Cheers.
Jason, what's going down, Jason? My donkey on this bar stool.
What's the name of the donkey? The donkey. I think I would be a good character on Cheers, actually.
I think you would. Yeah, you'd be like Cliff's more intelligent cousin or something. Then you could both get into like a. Yeah, a little known fact there that the donkey was actually owned by Mr. Green Jeans, and and he was equidistant from 2 piles of ping pong balls.
Is that me, or do I say no? I think you had that wrong. Okay, so I even had the right consonant. It's Buridan's ass.
Buridan's ass. Okay.
Yeah. It's a paradox in philosophy in the conception of free will. There we go.
Right. The idea being that if you're equidistant from two things that you want to get,
that you want equally,
you go into some kind of like 50s robot feedback loop and can't do anything, and you end up dying. Which I don't know if that necessarily holds true, but
well, no, it has to do with like it's the assumption that there's some automated response, right? That you
right.
If I'm midway between two things that I want equally, then I won't be able to make a decision. But actually, we do see this all the time, and it's one of the things that I have tried to teach not only my children but also like people who I work with, which is sometimes you just have to make a decision, because not making a decision is actually making a decision.
Yeah, and it's a really crappy decision that you're making.
Like the donkey decided to starve, and through his indecision, right? And
he chose that path.
A lot of times, accidents, like traffic accidents, they happen because of indecision, not because of an action somebody took. Sometimes it's an action somebody else took, but usually it's the indecision of one or both parties that actually will create it. Anyway.
Like Mr. Miyagi says, you karate yes, safe. You karate no, safe. You karate guess so, squish. Just like grape. Miyagi's Grape is the name of that that concept.
He's saying basically, if you're putting yourself in the arena and you haven't really properly prepared,
right,
you might as well not be in the. You should probably just not be in the arena. Yeah. Yeah, look at that. I haven't watched Cobra Kai yet.
Oh, you need to watch it.
Yeah, people say
it is so good. It is. It's good because, number one, it doesn't take itself too seriously. It takes itself seriously enough. Like, it's not just a wacky comedy or anything. But it's also, it's super cheesy at times. But it's that perfect, they nail the tone of what 25 years after the events of Karate Kid would be. And it's so good. And Billy Zabka, I don't know why he isn't doing more stuff.
He's the bad kid?
Yeah, he's Johnny Lawrence. And he is so good in this. It is ridiculous. It's because exactly that. He plays this sort of, Johnny Lawrence, after all of the things that happened, kind of is down on his luck and not doing so good. And
it's kind of like Biff and Back to the Future.
Kind of like that, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And the thing is he's completely like technophobic. Like he has not advanced past the 80s, really. He's just kind of living in the past. But the thing is, he plays it so straight that, that's the key to comedy, right? Is that the cast members in your comedy can't know that they're in a comedy. Right. Because that kills it, right? They have to.
So is it a comedy?
It has funny moments in it. It has lighthearted, like not so much funny, but sort of uplifting moments in it. And it has like serious, we're going to get you kind of moments too. But again, the tone of it is like perfect. And the sort of mixture of those different types of moments is really well done. I can't say enough about it. It is such a good show.
I saw the trailer for it and I was not impressed.
Yeah, I seem to remember because I watched it when it was on YouTube Red or whatever. I got the 2-week trial and then I just slammed them. And then I walked away. But back then I remember there being I remember liking the idea, the concept of the show, but thinking, I don't know about this, after seeing the trailers. So I don't think that they did a terribly good. Yeah, it's been out for well over a year now.
Oh, wow. Well, I can't watch it then.
When YouTube Red went down, and it was just kind of languishing for a while, and Netflix picked it up, I think last month, like just recently.
Yeah, that's when it kind of had its became popular, right?
And they say, I remember reading the article about that, and they mentioned something about an unaired third season. So I think there's a season in the can that Netflix will be releasing, I guess, at some point. I think I saw something about it being next year.
A third season that was produced by Netflix, or a third season that was produced
presumably by YouTube, because it sounded like they acquired that third season with the rest of it. But I don't know. It's well done. I mean, the production value or whatever is really good for what it is.
So a couple of things. Number one, I tend to either watch a show. I'm like an early adopter kind of person. So shows like West Wing, Lost, Mad Men. Mad Men to this day, I feel like there should be some sort of award that's given out to people who early adopt fantastic shows, but years before other people catch on. Because I was recommending Mad Men. I mean, I remember the first time
hipster award.
I watched it on my iPod Touch.
Whoa!
When I was on an airplane, I remember going to and then back from Colorado, and it's like 2007, 6.
So you were living in Baltimore at that point.
2006. Yeah, I was, yes. Okay. And I remember people on the plane looking at my iPod and saying, "Oh, what is that?" Like this iPod Touch.
Yeah, I guess it's 6 or 7. Yeah,
the iPhone wasn't out yet, I don't believe, or it had just come out. I think the iPod Touch and the phone came out at the same time.
Yeah, they did.
And I had an iPod Touch. So anyway,
because the phones were like $7 million when they first came out,
something like that.
It was like 2G.
But over the years, I would say, "You gotta watch this show. You gotta watch this show. You gotta watch this show." And every time somebody finally did, they're like, "Oh my God, this is the best show!" Right? So I'm either an early adopter like that, or I like just reject every bit of advice to watch something until I just can't hold out. I
tend to be that guy,
right? Like Downton Abbey, basically didn't start watching until it was already off. Game of Thrones, I didn't start watching until it was probably to season. How many seasons were there?
8,
Lots,
I think.
Right. It was probably at least season 4, or if not 5, before I started watching it.
That was one I was an early adopter on because I had read the books, and so I was like, "Ooh,
you're
so
weird.
What's that?" Yeah, I'm
so
weirdo.
Weird.
Books are for nerds.
Who wants to look at Daenerys in a book?
Why am I reading this on paper? What the hell?
I mean, come on. When the temple burns down all around her, and she burns all the people in the temple, and she emerges from this thing completely, as God intended.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way you can convey the same thing in a book.
Well,
unless
to be fair, they haven't yet.
Is that generous.
The books haven't caught up to that moment. Because George R.R. Martin has decided he's no longer a writer of books.
I feel like there's some, I feel like there's like a secret card game happening right now, and he's part of it, and James Cameron's part of it, and what's his name? Who wrote Aaron Sorkin's part of it? Like these guys
who can go longer.
They just stop. They just I'm just not gonna. We're gonna keep talking about doing stuff. They don't really do stuff anymore.
Let's see how long they give it.
My name is Patrick.
Yeah, and James Cameron's like he gets the brag about how Disney actually built a land for this thing that he promised would be coming, but it's never
doing everything but actually writing the book. We've done a show over here with Martin. We've built an amusement park over here with Cameron.
That's what I think is happening. I imagine it's kind of like dogs playing poker, but it's not dogs.
Right. It's jerks.
I didn't say that. No, I never said that. I didn't say that because I actually think that I don't know them, so I wouldn't attribute any kind of personality, like characteristic like that. But I think we can fairly say that they're not completists.
That's for sure.
So the one thing is that I typically will, like I said, I will I'm either an early adopter or I wait way late. So I feel like with Cobra Kai, now that I know it was also on YouTube Red and everybody's talking about it, it's probably going to be a couple of years before I watch it. It's okay because, I'm sure it will still be good.
And there is a certain amount of I get it when it comes to I want to wait for the series to be done and so that I can go from beginning to end at my pace and I'm not waiting for anything. I get that. That's definitely...
Well, and that has changed. Like we've talked about our viewing habits as children. Well, a little bit. We didn't go deep into the 80s or not. But ever since Netflix became like the streaming service and started providing, well, I would say even before it was a streaming service, when we would rent the CDs, the DVDs rather, like that's how I watched most of The Sopranos. I binged it off of the DVD first, and then I think I had maybe 1 or 2 seasons left to watch on HBO. I hadn't watched it before that, and so I did it all off of DVD, and so I would just consume it like that. And what's happened is I've become somewhat monogamous as it relates to my marriage, let's be clear, but also as it relates to my TV viewing. So you'll
stick with one thing for a while.
Forever. Until it's finished.
Yeah,
we run it to the ground. And that's how it is. Like Downton Abbey, didn't watch anything else. Yeah. Pretty much during that entire period. Right now I'm on this West Wing kick, and we are probably up into season, like halfway through season 5 at this point. And
so is that post Sorkin? Did he leave between 4 and 5?
No. I think. Did he stop writing for it at some point?
Yeah.
Is it when it gets bad?
I think so. Yeah. When it starts going off the tracks, I think that's when he.
No.
Was after he left.
Why did you tell me this? Why did you tell me this now?
I thought it was common knowledge. This is not the first time you've been through the West Wing.
I know, but it was so long ago. I don't want to know how old he is. What the heck is this?
1,100 years old.
I clicked on the wrong. Don't know. He left the series in 2003.
Well, that doesn't help. What season was that?
No, I'm pretty sure I'm in 2004.
Well, now. Isaac and Ishmael was right after 9/11, and that's what season 3.
I'm pretty sure I'm in 2004 now. I mean, and that means no wonder it's not good anymore.
Yeah. See. Yeah.
Because I was just saying to Michelle yesterday, I worked on the Hill for a few years, and I would tell her this would never happen. This isn't even how it happens. This isn't how it works. And I feel like he was kind of a stickler to the details.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, once that starts drifting.
Well, maybe you have just given me a get out of jail card.
Hey, yeah. Sort of a way to cheat on your show.
Or just to divorce it, really.
Either one, really.
Just say. But I did hear that there's a possibility that they're doing something. They're doing like a reunion show or something, maybe.
Yeah, that's all the rage these days, isn't it? There's so many of these Zoom reunions. I think Community had one, and Princess Bride.
I don't think they're going to do it via Zoom.
Well, I mean, who knows?
What the heck kind of show is that?
Well, I mean, it's it's usually not. I mean, maybe they're doing an actual show. I don't know, but I know there's been a lot of these sort of get all the cast together over Zoom because of COVID and whatnot.
I don't. Yeah, you're taking my hope away.
Well, I don't want to take your hope away. That's not what I do.
Okay, so according to Deadline.com, and this is an article from August 25th, 2020, The West Wing, Aaron Sorkin, and cast reunite for HBO Max special ahead of U.S. presidential election. So does that mean it will just be one episode, or will that be... I don't know.
Interesting.
Anyway, I liked Captain Kangaroo a lot, but what I liked better than Captain Kangaroo was Simon, which was the little short during Captain Kangaroo. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do they call it? Was it Simon in his garden wall or Simon? I don't know.
Yeah, he would go beyond the fence or whatever.
The garden wall.
But I think it was just called Simon.
It wasn't a fence. It wasn't.
Well, whatever it is, I blurry on the details, but I do remember that the things that he would. I don't know why I pulled ping pong balls out, but that he, and the things I draw come true.
Oh,
yeah, I remember him.
Simon in the land of chalk drawings.
Very descriptive. Yeah, I should have. You could almost have guessed that one.
You remember the song though? It's great.
Yeah.
My name is Simon.
Oh,
you're putting
the things I draw come through.
Over the garden wall.
Yeah. It's like, Mike Myers would do that Simon thing where he's in the bathtub on Saturday Night Live, and I was like, you're totally ripping off Simon from
don't you think he was supposed to be? That was the idea?
Well, no, because he said I like to do drawings, and it was just all about making fun of the British accent and how you say drawings, and that was like the whole bit was just that. And I think that ended up turning into Austin Powers, but yeah, he used the same song from
Simon grows up to be Austin Powers.
I think we found Simon's origin story. Austin Powers begins.
It's Simon. Now I feel like I need to watch reruns of Simon. I'm afraid though it might be one of those things where you watch and you're like, this wasn't as good as I remember.
Yeah, could be. There's been a lot of those that I've discovered recently, and it's been sort of it's taken its toll on my soul. But I remember with Simon, I always kind of wondered if he because it's like jacking into the Matrix, right? Like when he goes beyond the wall, he's going into this brand new universe where the things he drew back in his room come to life in here. And I always wonder, while he's in there, if his mom erases that chalkboard, what happens to Simon?
Why would you think something like that?
Well, I mean, and it could be traumatic, like he's stuck between two worlds forever, or it could just be she erases his little buddy that he's talking to over there, and he sees his buddy go, and
it's terrible too. What kind of childhood did you have, Marcus?
Well, I watched a lot of science fiction, so these things come up.
So
existential dilemmas over animated chalk drawings.
I feel like it's a lot like Harold and the Purple Crayon too.
No, there you have me. I don't know who Harold and the Purple Crayon is.
Come on now.
I don't.
Are you serious?
I thought you were going to say James and the Giant Peach.
I had one of my employees had sent a message to me a couple weeks ago and said, I have to peace out. I'm going to take my child to the hospital because she has something in her ear.
Ooh,
and I was like, okay, go, whatever. And I think her daughter is year and a half old.
Prime ear insertion age.
Turns out that it was the tip of a purple crayon.
Hey.
So I sent her Harold and the Purple Crayon book.
That's awesome. That was Harold actually get it in his ear?
This.
I don't.
You don't know about
recent childhood books isn't really in my bailiwick.
It's not recent.
Well, how recent is it? I mean, it's old.
It's old.
Like we would have seen them as a kid?
Yes.
No, well, I guess I missed that one then.
Maybe they didn't have it in the West.
In the West?
The South, wherever you were. It was the South. I forget.
Arkansas is in the West.
You always? At one time, it was.
Well, it's west of Baltimore, west of the Appalachians. I suppose.
Part of.
If you ain't East Coast, you're in the West.
Look, it was the West. I'm right. St. Louis, the archway, the gateway to the West.
Back in the 1500s, I suppose it was in the West. I'm
gonna find you a map from.
I know there are things that are east of Arkansas. I do know that.
Certainly, I'm gonna find you a map from I don't know, probably the 18th century at least. That's going to show. It's going to depict Arkansas as being some westward Derby dragons kind of.
And there do be dragons, to be fair, but Arkansas is west of here, but I wouldn't call it the West. There's a lot that goes. There's a lot that's riding on that article on the beginning of West.
Everyone knows that Westworld took place in the Ozarks.
Yeah, it was in Fordyce.
So Harold and the Purple Crayon is a 1955 children's book.
Oh, 55.
By Crockett Johnson.
That was the year Marty McFly went back
to. Okay.
That's the first thing I think of whenever the year 1955
and keep this kid from drawing anything with his crayon.
Yeah. See, before he went back, it was Harold and the red crayon. But Marty stepped on that red crayon and he had to pick up the purple one instead.
I thought you were doing something funny with like red shift or something because of time and light. And
I'm getting quantum physics with you today.
Again, the fact that I understand like that has some interrelation is great, right?
That's true.
But I really can't go much further with it.
Red shift, blue shift, yeah. Light version of Doppler effect.
Mm-hmm. Right. See.
I'm with you.
Good. Now, so Simon the Land of Chalk Drawings was a British animated series, of course, and it's from 1974, my friend.
Yeah, I knew it was way back.
I feel like they stole Harold and the Purple Crayon.
Oh, did he also like Dr. Frankenstein like create things and animate them?
Yeah. Yeah, that was the idea.
Cool.
He went on these little adventures with his purple crayon.
But they were all purple?
Yeah. Because he had a purple crayon. I can't believe you don't know this. I feel now I have to send you the book.
Were there no other crayons in the box? I mean, everything was purple?
So one of the things I thought about doing in addition to sending the book was to send the Crayola makes a box of just purple crayons.
Do they really? I was going to say, would you have to get like 20 boxes of crayons, pull the purple out of all of them, and fill up 120 and send it?
That's way too ambitious.
But it's one of those things that for some reason I would do that.
That's because you're just a nicer person than me, a more generous person with your time.
That are a little more psychotic about this stuff.
Yeah, then you have to send all the red ones to somebody and all the blue ones to somebody. It's like you have to think about like who's going to get all the white ones.
And everybody thinks they're the one that got the crazy crayons, but it turns out there were 20 people that got them.
What do you do with a white crayon?
I don't know. I have never understood the white crayon.
Crazy, like what? You get a white crayon. You're like, what am I going to do with this thing?
Yeah,
I have to talk my mom into buying me black construction paper now.
Right. I mean, and even if you do have colored construction paper,
it's just space. That's the only thing I do is draw stars. It's like space. That's it.
Right. Because because if it's black, then it's kind of a nighttime scene, and ain't nothing white at night.
Or it could be daytime in space.
Right, or in space, daytime, yeah. But the thing is, it wasn't white. It's going to be gray. I mean, at best, it is a shade lighter than whatever you're drawing on. It's never white. It's not like house paint. I never understood it. I never understood a white crayon. Yeah, that's ridiculous.
To this day, I didn't even realize how angry it made me until we just started talking about it.
And you know what else is a ripoff? The gold crayon. Because you draw, because that ain't gold. When you write on it, it's brown.
Did you try to take it to the market or something?
No. But I'm saying the color isn't gold. You scribble on a piece of paper, and it is a brown with very, very like tiny amount of glitter in it.
Yeah,
it isn't anything like gold.
Oh, I feel like we have to now see. I feel like I never had a disappointing goal. Maybe you had. Did you have off-brand crayons?
No. Now, see, that's one thing that I wasn't. I was never subjected to.
Did you have what was the other brand of crayons?
There was
that off-brand. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Well, it was Rose Art. Had some, but I seem to remember.
You are from the Ozarks.
Okay.
Did they have like Ozarks crayon? Ozarks?
No, especially not in Little Rock, which is nowhere near the Ozarks. But
it's close-ish.
It's closer than here, I suppose.
Right.
But what were they? The ones? Yeah, and you get them at like Fred's or something. Dang it, I don't remember them now. But yeah, those were the ones that came pre-broken.
What? It's like buying the car that has things in it already. Because you know why? We will ensure that you don't get that disappointing day in the grocery parking lot where you come out and you're like, oh, my car's dinged. Right? This way,
I spoiled my pristine car. Well, it's not something you have to worry about here.
It's just done already. I always like my favorite was the Crayola box that had the little sharpener in the box.
The 64. Back. Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, I mean the 32 is about the most like pointless set of crayons because you're not doing the 18 or whatever, the little sort of travel size one, And it's not the big 64 that has the crayon sharpener in it. It's this crappy middle ground that nobody gave a rat's donkey about. And it was just pointless. What the heck is, no point in those.
We were babysitting Michelle's nephew years and years ago. I mean, he's 32 now. Pretty sure he's 32. Is he 32?
A little old for babysitting.
32. Well, he wasn't. It wasn't like yet last week. It was way back. It was like back in the 90s.
Oh my God! Somebody who needed babysitting in the 90s is now 32.
That's what I'm saying, man.
I'm old. I'm so old.
Yeah. Hello. Sorry. Let's just let that reality sink in for a second.
Thanks.
Okay. So we were babysitting him, and he had a big box of Crayola crayons, and there was like this contest on the box about there were I think 4 or 5 crayons that were nameless in the box, and the contest was name the colors. And
and they would choose the best name for the colors, or it was like something you could get right or wrong.
You would submit it, and then they would pick one, and then I guess you won something really cool, right?
A whole bunch of that crayon.
Mm-hmm. So you get one crayon. So
600 of this one.
We spent like several hours. We were very serious. We took it very seriously.
Coming up with names.
I mean, you know me. I mean, we were like, this is now, like, and I'm like, dang, that's a bad. What are you talking about, kid? That sucks.
Get an imagination,
kid. It was actually quite collaborative, and we were working on it together for several hours. I kid you not when I say several hours. I mean like
several hours naming crayons.
Like 3 hours. Yeah.
So how many crayons are we finding names for over this several hours?
It was like
5 of them. Okay, so that's good.
My favorite one, I think, my 2 favorites that I remember. How do I remember these now? I can't remember the name of the donkey that's like this like.
And you had no recollection of ping pong balls either.
Bird and ping pong balls, right? But I can still remember the names of these crayon colors. Awesome. One was grass stained green.
Grass stained green, nice.
I think it's perfect, right? And the next was frog tongue.
Ooh, it's kind of a pink, I guess.
Yeah, it was like a reddish, pinkish thing. Yeah,
nice. All right, frog tongue.
So we do all this stuff. We get it all written down. Now we go to look at instructions for submission, right? So we're getting the address written down, everything else. And then we notice that the contest deadline was like
3 years ago.
3 or 4 years earlier.
Damn. Just missed. But hey, you spent some hours and you got the creative juices going on the kid you were supposed to be babysitting. That's not a bad evening.
I think it's in like my top 10 most disappointing moments in life.
Oh yeah, that has to be. That takes the wind out of your sails.
Man, what the heck? What do I do with this now? I know.
I can't say the word, but it would be the name of a brown crayon.
Oh, I know. What we'll do 25 years from now, I'll talk about it on a podcast. That's what we'll do.
I don't even know what a podcast is, but I'll talk on it.
It's like podcast. What
you casting pods?
What are you talking about? I don't even think I knew what edamame was at that point.
I'm fairly certain I didn't know what edamame was in the 90s.
Maybe I did. I don't know. I knew sushi.
Yeah.
Edamame may have been... I don't know. It's hard to know.
Yeah. I would like to have access to that aspect of my memory. Just like, when was the first time I ate X food? Just little sort of statistical things. I'd love to know about my life.
How do you not know these things? Like
how many times have I sneezed? Just like weird,
come on. Now that's just really.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm curious. Is it in the 20,000s or what? I just I deal with data all day, so that's things I think about.
Well, do you feel like your sneezing has changed over time? Like
no, I mean that's just a.
Are you on allergy medicine of any sort?
I am not actually. Maybe I should be.
I'm not looking to diagnose you. I'm just asking, what I want to know.
Well, doctor,
is whether your allergy, your sneezing habits have changed. So
it's still very violent and
has it always been like this?
Yes.
Okay. So what I would suggest you do is like, what do you think would be an appropriate sample size to use? Like a year? Right now. So
I guess a year would be the smallest amount of time that would be useful because it has a full, year cycle in it. Mm-hmm. So you would be able to.
Now you are in Florida now and not in.
That's true.
Arizona.
And I'm not. I was Arizona before here, and then Arkansas before that, and.
So maybe the likelihood of sneezing is different because of the geography.
Yeah. But probably pretty much a guarantee, I would imagine.
But I think just for it's not like you're looking to publish in JAMA or something.
Well, you never know. Depends on what I find.
It's going to have to be a more interesting study. I think what you would do is you would keep track of how many times you sneeze starting now. Do it for a year, and then extrapolate.
I feel like I didn't sneeze as much when I was a kid.
Well, see, I just asked you that question. Like, has your sneezing changed? Like,
maybe just from that period of time, But see, I don't know. I don't have enough information. That's the whole point. That's why I would like to know this information. And it's not the sneezing thing in particular. That was just an example off the top of my head of some random statistic that I could find out if I had like the ability to access that part of whatever.
I don't know what's funnier, the fact that we're talking about study design of like how many times you sneezed.
I would point out that you're
like
talking about that,
or this like idea of you being in the middle of the Magic Kingdom sneezing, which of course isn't offensive in and of itself right now because of the whole COVID thing. So
even though that's not a sneezing thing,
into a mask properly, right?
Yeah. And having it blow up comically, that would be cool.
And then you go 17.
Carry one of those little things that they click when people go into a place or whatever. Just be sneeze, click. Sneeze, click.
No, it's better than that. You have to pull out, excuse me, and you pull the little notebook out of your pocket, and you write.
I rate it.
You write with your.
This is 4 stars.
With your gold crayon.
Yeah. Make sparkly brown smudges with my gold crayon. I'm telling you, somebody out there agrees with me with this gold crayon thing. That didn't look anything like that. You try to make a pile of gold for your goofy stick figure Indiana Jones to find, and it doesn't look like gold. Nobody wants that gold. That looks like I don't know what that looks like. It looks like something that nobody would assign value to.
Well, I'm sorry that happened to you.
Yeah, it was traumatic.
You should look up Harold and the Purple Crayon, though.
I definitely will.
Yeah, you're missing out.
On the virtue that it's the purple crayon. If it was Harold and the gold crayon, I really couldn't give a rat's. I don't want to see him drawing that stuff and having it come alive. That's gross.
Oh, buddy. I don't even know why you started talking about crayons. Because of Harold, because of Simon.
Because of Simon.
Harold, ping pongs, green jeans. There it is.
Yeah.
There it is. Yeah.
Captain Kangaroo.
Right.
I don't think we mentioned Captain Kangaroo during all of that.
I think we did. Because I said I liked Captain Kangaroo, but the thing I liked more than Captain Kangaroo was Simon.
Okay. Well, we got to give credit where it's due. The man in
this is what I do.
Piped red blazer.
Whenever I'm stuck on some like memory, especially if it's something that's not pleasurable, like oh, that's not a pleasant memory, but you get kind of like wound into it. The easiest way for me to kind of clear it out is actually is not to kind of resist it, but it's kind of to sort of unwind it, to like say, okay, how did I get to this point? And sort of back up to the initial thought, because the initial thought is usually not ever like a bothersome,
right? Just randomly think of this stuff.
Yeah, and then I go on my merry way. So try that.
Good way to go.
Next time you think of your gold.
This clearly haunts me. And the less said about the copper crayon, the better.
Was there a copper crayon? I think there was a copper in the 64 for sure. There was a copper crayon.
Oh god, yeah. There's I bet you there's a frog tongue in that one.
Stop.
That's Don't you wish they had a frog tongue crayon?
Too soon.
They should have a. You know how you can do the thing where you make up your own Ben and Jerry's flavor or whatever. They should have that for, like, you go into the Crayola factory. You can make up your own, like, hue of crayon.
They probably do. It's like the Lego store thing. Like, I think there are Crayola. At least there were Crayola stores in malls, big malls. Don't they have some sort of Crayola creating or color creating thing?
I don't know. Seems like an easy thing for them to do if they don't have that. But
I mean,
I'm trademarking that idea if they don't.
Like big vat of hot wax and.
Right. No, you need some dye, I guess, or whatever.
red
as long as it's not red, red dye number 2 or whatever. And
at Hershey, have you ever been to Hershey?
No, I've wanted to. That's a place that I've always, because they've got a whole like theme park thing there, don't they?
They do, the whole thing, and they also have Chocolate World.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And in Chocolate World, they added. It used to just be basically a store, museum-ish kind of thing, and a cool ride through, very Disney-esque, dark, like almost something that you'd find in Epcot. About like traveling through this how
the world of chocolate.
It's like not how a bill becomes a law, but like how a cocoa bean becomes a chocolate bar.
And is it a cute little cocoa bean that?
No, but you even rode through the oven and it was this hot scene. Ooh. Yeah, it was really cool. I actually have a picture of Michelle and the kids in the revised oven, the new version of the oven that I'll post on After Hours Facebook page.
Yeah.
Not After Hours. Why did I say After Hours?
I don't know.
Wrong show. I don't know. What are we on? Who is this? Who are you?
This is.
Who are you?
I don't
Accidentally
know.
Derivative. I don't know.
Is Frank there?
I have Carlos on the brain. That's what I have. I won't talk about
That's got to be
an
interesting experience.
No, I won't. It'd be mean to talk about Carlos. No, having Carlos on the brain is a pleasure.
I said it was interesting, and this was bad.
Okay, good. Anyway,
just unusual,
I will post a picture of it on the Accidentally Derivative page, and
please do.
We can link back to this because this is such an interesting story.
This is an amazing story. Steven Spielberg wishes he could tell a story like this.
Anyway, it's inside, but I'm not here to talk to you about chocolate ovens. I'm here to talk to you about the Crayola based story. So at Chocolate World now, they also have this it's like a chocolate bar factory thing where, no kidding, you gown up, you look like Laverne. Remember the whole? I know, who was it?
Laverne and Shirley.
Yeah, it's like Laverne and Shirley in the factory, which kind of also like the Lucille scene. Lucille and was it Ethel in the?
Oh yeah, Lucy and Ethel. Yeah, in the chocolate
in the chocolate factory kind of thing. Anyway. You have to wear
Lucille.
You have to wear the.
I love Lucille.
You picked a fine time to leave me. You're wearing this bonnet and the hair in that thing, and you got to wear like this like, it's kind of like a modified. It's like a. It's like a cross between. No, yeah. It's like this hybrid between an apron and a poncho. It feels like. And anyway, you go in this hermetically sealed factory like setting, and then you get to like design your chocolate bar, like the ingredients.
Oh, cool.
And then you even get to design the packaging for it, and then you get like, it's like a big, giant chocolate bar that you get in this nice little collector's tin.
Well, that's cool, but you don't get to eat it because you want to keep it, right?
Well, that's the problem.
Yeah.
Right?
They should give you 2. One to keep, one to eat.
Well, your parent.
And how long are you going to keep?
Buy you 2. You could buy you 2. So
that's true.
Right. That reminds me. Oh my goodness. When I was a kid, I was gifted. It's kind of weird now that I think about it. I was gifted this. I don't even want to say it because maybe we should just.
Well, you
on.
Can't do that.
Do you ever get that feel? You're like, I know. I want to talk about this, but like, I'm about to reveal a little more than I am comfortable saying.
Oh yes, all the time. I get that.
But now it's out there.
Yeah.
All right. So when I was a kid, I was gifted this chocolate Last Supper. It was literally like the Last Supper image. It was an Easter. It was like
it was like a Van Gogh Last Supper. Or it's
yes.
like, well, okay. Or not Van Gogh.
No, not Van Gogh. What did you say?
The guy, with
there's no ear in it.
Helicopters. What? Da Vinci.
The helicopters.
He invented helicopters.
Well, he didn't really. I mean, he designed a helicopter. He didn't really ever build one, though. So let's.
Well, no, but
I mean, that's like saying I designed a spacecraft.
Yeah, well, he was.
That was made.
He
with
could have built it.
Gold crayon. Anyway,
So you had a.
Oh, did I just disappear? Why did I just disappear?
You did.
How about now? Where did I go? Why is it so dark, Mom? Why is it so dark?
Oh, there you go.
It's so
I know
weird.
the power's not out. You're still talking.
I plugged my phone in just because I'm almost out of here. Hold on. I feel like I wonder if I'll disappear again. Oh, is everything okay?
No, still there.
Okay, good. If I leave you again, it got real scary. I thought maybe you erased the portal. So I was gifted this.
Your mom erased the chalkboard.
Mom, color it back.
You can still.
So
see
I was gifted
bit.
This chocolate, Da Vinci style
chocolate Last Supper.
Well,
chocolate not served at the Last Supper, by the way.
When I was a kid, like I was a pretty like religious kid, and and Easter was like an important.
Well, yeah,
it still is an important religion. I'm important holiday and part of the anyway. But like I was really in. It's so weird. Anyway, I don't want to. Anyway,
did you eat Judas first? Is that?
I didn't eat it at all. That's the thing.
You didn't want to consume Jesus and the disciples?
I'm sure that was part of the problem, but also like I didn't want to like. I liked it. Like I liked it, and I couldn't eat it.
It's like a delicious Eucharist.
It's like the whole concept of you can like have your cake and eat it too, kind of thing.
Right. You wanted to have your Last Supper and also eat it.
Yeah.
But you can't do both.
So I get anyway. The story must have gotten back to the woman who made this, and so she I guess used the same mold and made me a ceramic version that I could have.
She made chocolates out of a mold that she also made ceramics out of.
Well, hopefully she did.
That doesn't seem clean. Hold up.
I'm sure she like cleaned it first or dishwashed it or whatever.
Here's one I made out of pewter.
I think you mean Peter.
And also a cookie made from the same thing.
Oh my gosh.
Lord.
So, yeah.
So did that alleviate your anxiety over eating the Last Supper? As if you had like a ceramic version?
I honestly do not remember whether I ate it or not. I just remember I don't have it anymore, and I
can't tell if it's bad or good to eat the Last Supper. Is it good because you're kind of taking it into your body and absorbing it into your soul, or is it bad because it's disrespectful to actually eat these people? Or even an effigy of these people. Not effigy, that's kind of a crappy word for it, but a representation of the disciples, eating them and making them out of chocolate in the first place seems a little disrespectful.
Yeah,
so maybe it's not on you. Maybe it's on her.
Oh, I don't think it was on me at all.
Okay, good. Yeah. No guilt there.
I just couldn't bring myself to eat, and and so then she made this other one. Anyway, so I was thinking maybe if they wouldn't make, if they made like you got your chocolate bar, at Hershey, if you got your chocolate bar in ceramic, also
that's true.
Then you wouldn't have you could have that.
They'd be like, "Are you crazy? Make ceramics out of this stuff? You can't do that with the same thing you make chocolate out of. Everybody knows that."
The chocolate store, I mean the candy store there, chocolate store, whatever you want to call it, the Hershey store there is amazing.
Yeah, I bet
it's amazing. Yeah, I mean, it's
I am a sucker for the dark chocolate. That's the stuff I want to
like the special dark.
Jump on. Oh yeah. There's a special dark chocolate syrup, which is fantastic.
I'm sure they have it there.
Yeah,
they have all the things there that you can't find in the store. In fact, that was where I discovered. I think it's Take 5. I think the bars at Take 5.
I've heard of those. Yeah. What's
in it?
Yeah. What makes it
everything
makes it stand out?
Like basically anything that would make something good with chocolate is in this.
So I guess what, like almonds, Rice Krispies.
So I'm gonna bring up. I don't want to get this wrong. Okay, here it is. Do you know there's a Wikipedia page for Take 5?
Doesn't surprise me.
So I can tell you it was released in 2004.
Wow, that seems recent.
Mm-hmm. And in 2019, it became part of the Reese's family. And that's when Reese's it was changed to Reese's Take 5. Well, Reese's is part of... I think Reese's and Hershey's are kind of like... There's a relationship there of some sort.
I think it's a lot like the relationship between Coke and Dr. Pepper. Because Dr. Pepper isn't a Coke product. I think that's the one that isn't. That you think that it is, but it's not. Because it's in all the Coke machines, but it's its own company.
No, but I think Reese's is owned by...
So they've got kind of a...
I think Reese's is owned by Hershey.
Partnership or something.
Yeah, because it says owner, Hershey Company.
Oh, okay.
And
then it's not like that at all then.
Well, I wouldn't say that. Anyway. Okay, so here's the deal. So it has 5 ingredients. There, hence Take 5. Chocolate.
Clever. That's peanuts, a good one. Mm-hmm.
Caramel.
Oh, yes.
Peanut butter.
Wow, peanut butter and caramel. Nice.
Pretzels.
Ooh.
That's right. Which also means salt.
Peanuts, caramel, peanut butter,
pretzels,
and what was the other? Oh, chocolate.
That's it. Yeah. Well, yeah. It's amazing.
That sounds great.
I mean,
I need to find one of those now.
It's so good. It's so good. And I think you can find them more. I think it's easier to find them now. But the first time I ever had it was at this Hershey store. I was like, oh, what are these? Oh, I read the ingredients. I was, how do I not know that these existed?
Right.
How's it possible that I didn't know these existed?
This is like the top tier bar here.
Yes. Anyway, so it's worth a trip. It's worth a trip to Hershey, Pennsylvania, to visit.
Yeah.
And yes, they have like rides and stuff. A big amusement park there. Really, actually, really good amusement park.
So I hear we see it like mentioned when people are talking about like their favorite roller coasters, and somebody will say it's this at Hershey Park or whatever, and like seems like there's a lot of them there. Check that out sometime.
There you go. Yeah, it'd be fun. We could do a trip. Let's see, like where in... I'm utterly ignorant of Hershey's geolocation here. So what is it close to Pittsburgh? Is it close to North Philadelphia? No.
Philadelphia.
It's so compared to Pittsburgh or Philadelphia, it's closer to Philadelphia, but not close to Philadelphia.
Either one of them, really.
It's close to York, if you know where that is. Which is kind of...
That was the staging area for every invasion into Scotland. And William Wallace was very mad about that.
Wrong continent.
Ow, it's a different York.
Well, yeah, and it's not New York, because we know that that's a different place.
That used to be New Amsterdam.
Yeah.
Why they changed it, I don't know.
Istanbul?
No. It's not Constantinople anymore.
You can't go back. Oh, okay. It's kind of due north of Baltimore.
Oh, okay.
So it's like an hour and a half due north ish.
Well, that's not bad. So did you go up there like a lot?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Oh yeah. It was a lot of fun. Good times. Good times.
Awesome. Good chocolatey times.
Good chocolatey experiences. Actually, my first looped roller coaster was the Super Duper Looper, which is at Hershey Park.
Wow, that sounds like the perfect coaster for that.
It's only one loop, and it's still the super duper looper.
Is the loop indeed super duper?
It
being only the only one, you would hope that they would pour all of their super duperness into that one loop.
It was at the time.
Okay, yeah.
And I'll never forget how, it's still weird. It's still weird to this day, but I remember it was a tight enough loop that you could see, especially when they were in the back, you could see people below you in the loop.
Like the loop
Does that make
was
sense?
shorter than the train was long.
It seems that way, but now it seems ridiculous.
So some people are coming out of the loop before you even went into it.
I guess that's what I was seeing, right? Like kind of like that happening. Yeah. So if you're in the tail end, but then it also had another track that came through. So the track came through the loop too.
Oh, like
so then
through the loop.
Sometimes as it was probably designed this way for like, especially for commercials, but it didn't. It really worked out that way. But sometimes
you gotta get the timing.
You kind of would
just
do
right.
the loop at the same time. Yeah, you go through the loop at the same time another one's coming through, and that's kind of cool effect.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good effect. And then they had those. They're not the only place. They still have them actually. They're like how do I describe this? You sit in a box basically that is suspended. So it's a suspended wooden box, and it has this rudder in the front. It's this giant sized rudder in the front and it's all shaped to look like a bird of some sort. And then you sit, so you can fit two people. And then you
also buy gas at this quote unquote theme park. You're in a wooden box with a rudder.
And then it's like, there's a whole bunch of them. It's kind of like the swings, but then like it starts to spin. And so as it spins and you're using your rudder, you can like control like how far out or how far in you are. You're going to like swing back and forth. Mm-hmm. You never had this?
Well, not a wooden box with a rudder. No, I have ridden swing amusement park rides
with a rudder.
I don't know if it had a rudder exactly.
Well, wait.
Okay, so I don't know. I did, you do the swings,
Yeah, but they're static essentially. I mean, you can't you're just at the mercy of the thing. There's no control.
Depends on how hard you thrash around in them.
You know how hard you kick off of the person next to you.
There you go.
Come here.
It becomes like this little miniature Thunderdome battle that's flying
around. Yelling at you, stop touching, because they don't want you to hold hands or anything either, right?
Right.
Because that's another effect. You could if you hold hands, then you could pull the person in closer to you and then release.
Yeah,
I'm sure that's safe.
Find all these interesting ways to risk our lives.
I do remember the day that I discovered I don't want to say like the day I discovered my mortality. That's not true. But the day I discovered
wow, that's grim.
That I had true. There's fear, and then there's fear. Like there's
right,
the
I
fear.
Get you.
Like you get on a roller coaster. And especially when you're a kid, even if as an adult, if it's like a super scary, crazy roller coaster, there's that. I love that first time you get on, and you still, even as an adult, have a little nervousness about it.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Like ooh, love that. I love that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But there's also that fear when you're thinking, you're like, this.
I may have made a mistake.
This probably isn't a good idea. It's probably not safe. And I'm
going to be on the news tonight.
So when I was a child, and we were at King's Dominion, which is a little north of Richmond, Virginia.
Okay.
I think it's north of Richmond. It could be south of Richmond. It's Richmond-ish.
It's Richmond adjacent.
Someone's like yelling at their device right now.
It's in Oregon, damn
it. So it's not. It's definitely in Virginia. It's definitely in Virginia.
Definitely.
So it was the first time I encountered, and this was a new ride. I've been going to King's Dominion for a while. But we go probably once a year as a family. But they had just added the pirate ship that went all the way upside down.
Ooh.
Have you ever seen that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Because pirate ship is scary enough, right? You get to that,
right.
you get like you're,
you get
in
way
the back row, and you're like, "Wow, no!" Right? All right, but this one goes all the way
I've never ridden
down.
the all the way around.
And it gets, and a couple times it just hangs there upside down. You're like, "Is it ever gonna come down?" Right?
This is where I die.
I was too young, thank God, to ride it, but my father and my older brother. When we're going to get on, they did get on, and I remember pleading with my father, "Please don't do it. Don't get on this.
Oh,
yeah, like don't get on this, right? Don't do it, right?" And it was fine. Okay, so cut to years later, and I had gotten at this point later. I grow older. I do get on it. I have fun. And then there's this one time where I'm there, and I'm on it, and I'm hanging there upside down. And I remember thinking to myself, how much do I trust these restraints?
Right.
Like,
is there any redundancy here?
Like, I realize on a roller coaster, like this happened, the reality is that if you can hold on all you want to the restraints, if they're not working, you're not holding yourself in.
Right, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you hit a turn going at the speed that a roller coaster goes,
right,
you can hold on. You're not like you go into a loop or something.
You're
not
toast.
Right. Which is why when I ride roller coasters, I'm hands up all the time, no matter how crazy or spooky it is. I am hands up because my feeling is like there's nothing I can do at this point, and I love that. I love I've just given myself over now.
Uh-huh.
There's nothing I can do, so I'm going to just enjoy the heck out of this, right? So, but in the pirate ship, I remember thinking, if I can imagine like this, the thing's release, and now I'm hanging on to this thing, like I'm hanging there, and I'm watching people around me drop, like I'm like never doing this again.
The whole scenario.
Oh yeah, because I'm thinking like this could actually really happen.
Uh-huh.
Somebody down there hits the button prematurely, and it doesn't help that like stuff's dropping out of people's pockets too while you're like upside down, like change. You see change and hats and sunglasses dropping. People spit.
Gravity is being annoyingly present.
So
not
then
prescient. Hopefully it's not present.
So I never did that again.
Yeah.
After that.
But yeah, talking about like getting on, even as an adult, getting on one of these things for the first time when I was over at the other park a while back. Mm-hmm. You know that roller coaster that's over there where you can choose like what rock song you listen to when you ride it?
Yeah.
That thing.
I always get the stupid rap song that I can't stand because I can't decide fast enough, and then I get the default, which is terrible. Hate it. I hate that ride.
But the climb is directly straight up, and that's one of those that's like, Rock and Roller Coaster is like my absolute favorite roller coaster in the world, simply because I love the powered launch so much. And then the rest of it is just awesome. And it's great theming. And I love having all, 700 speakers or whatever it is, blasting Aerosmith songs while I'm riding this coaster. I love everything about it. And it's fairly intense, it's not nearly the ones that are out there that like are actually attempting to kill you, but it's it's very, it's not, not exactly an entry level coaster, but the click, 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 click sort of chain going up the hill thing being absolutely straight up 90-degree angle into the air was very disconcerting and somewhat dismaying, because I was like, I'm having like gravity is affecting me in a way in a chair that I have never been affected in a chair before, and
so that was your first time in a coaster like
right
that.
Now,
that was your first time in a coaster like that goes straight
well, the
up?
first time that's a straight up chain ascension or whatever. I don't know if it's an actual chain that does it. I hope not, considering
they have them at like traveling fairs, as well. Which that's really scary when you think about that.
But no,
you didn't.
Mere hours ago, this was in a truck.
and you had to put this together?
Yeah. Is it like IKEA directions? Were there words involved? I don't know.
Do you think we're missing this part? Do you think it's important?
Every time we put one of these things back together, we always have like 3 bolts left over. I don't know why they're this guy, but
so you would love Storm Runner at Hershey Park.
Yeah,
because it's another launch. It's a launch coaster.
Oh yeah.
And you want the front seat.
Oh heck yeah, you do.
Right, you want the front seat, so it's worth waiting. I've been known to wait like an extra 30 minutes to get.
Do they have the dedicated like front seat line?
Of course.
That's very cool.
And yeah absolutely. So you get the front seat. This accelerates you, so it's 0 to 72 miles per hour in 2 seconds.
Yes, I want all of that.
It's like.
I enjoy the G-forces.
I know. You've done this to me in your Tesla before. And the best part about this is that, of course, I'm hands up the whole time, which freaks people out. They're like, the bystanders, you know that. When you launch, so it launches you 72 miles an hour. You go up this hill, and then I think it reaches 150 feet in the air.
Uh-huh.
And then it kind of does this turn, but it's a downward curving turn. Mm-hmm. So you feel like you're going to go flying off the track, like because it's like this sudden whoosh. And when your hands are in the air and this happens, it's like you're the king of the world. You're like
awesome.
All in. I'm gonna go flying off of this. It's the best feeling. I love it.
Bonsai.
Yeah, that's great. And then there's this part of you knowing you're like, I'm certainly like there's like such an infinitesimally small chance of me actually dying on this thing that I don't really have to be worried.
Right.
But there's that part of you that knows that if something does fail, you are certain to die.
Right. So there's no point in being worried about it. Cause
that's the part. Is that, and you're just like, okay.
Because like something failing and you not dying is probably the worst possible outcome. Is because you're all mangled, but you're still alive. That's would suck. You definitely want a guaranteed snuffing out.
No, the worst would be like you're flung from the vehicle and you land in a tree like outside the park, and you're kind of impaled but still alive.
And it's right above somebody's birthday party. No one knows where you
are because you can't call out. And so then you end
that
up...
is a little worse, yeah.
So then you don't end up actually succumbing to your injuries. You succumb to the environment.
And you said I was dark because...
To exposure. That would be worse. That's the worst.
I pondered what happened when Simon's drawings got erased.
That's the worst. And to add insult to injury... Your old school nemesis, grade school nemesis, walks by the tree and looks up at you like Zacchaeus and says, I'm not going to tell anybody you're there. And walks away. And then cutscene, end scene. There you go.
That sounds perfect.
That's pretty... And that's what goes through my head when I'm sitting there with my hands up about to...
and I like the callback of Zacchaeus to the chocolate Last Supper.
I realized, that wasn't a good comparison because now like the grade school nemesis,
you would be Zacchaeus in this situation.
That's the thing, and then Jesus is the one leaving. That's probably not
right,
happen.
And I don't think that's something that's not really on brand for Jesus.
Yeah, we'll have to pick a different.
You're in the tree like.
I'm just trying to get a better view.
No, Atreyu. I was trying to come up with somebody who's up a tree, and I can only think of him talking to the big turtle. That's never-ending story, kids. Go watch it.
Oh, I haven't seen that in forever.
I haven't either. Now that you mention it, that's very soon after one of the saddest moments of my childhood was that moment in Never-Ending Story, because just before that, Artax gets sucked into the despair swamp or whatever it's called.
No, apparently it's been a really long time since I've seen. Because that doesn't sound familiar.
You remember Artax is his horse.
Yeah, I remember the.
Oh, and Artax loses hope, and he's there it is.
Oh no!
I knew if we pulled on the thread enough.
Why did you say that?